China caught using a gas tanker, a gasoline tanker, to move cooking oil. And that wasn't the first time they did that either. Absolutely crazy. And when I share with you how much food on your store shelves comes from China, you aren't going to like that either. We also have a breaking update that the U.S. Marine Expeditionary Unit in Australia is about to deploy elsewhere. We also have more U.S. hens culled in Colorado as it declares a state of emergency due to the bird flu. Tyrant powers are switched back on. And that may be spreading, friends. And we also have a tip on how to extend ground beef or other meats. We got lots to cover, lots of your updates. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are your updates that you guys are sharing out there about what's going on, what you're seeing, and what you're hearing. Please do continue to share those things. If you have an update that you'd like to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. And just post that on this video or any video on this channel. It doesn't make a difference. Thanks so much for all that you guys contribute. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help make these updates possible as well. If you have a retirement account like an IRA or 401k, what's it in? Is it in stocks? Is it in bonds? Is that really the safest place to be right now? If you want to talk about whether it would be good to move over to gold, silver, or platinum, physical metals, that you can take distributions out of the bank account, you might want to talk to Jonathan and his team. There'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, so 1.8 million egg-laying hens were culled this week in Colorado. That's a lot. That's a big number. Now, we've had a lot of hens culled over the last 6 months to 12 months, and that means that the egg crisis that we've seen, the prices going up and everything like that, this will probably not make things much worse because we haven't had anything else happen in the last month or so. But this is about the level that this will kind of keep the crisis continuing. So I expect that this won't make things much worse, but I expect this is probably going to keep things about where they are. So it's not going to get better in the near future. All right, this is from Mary. China's state-owned China Grain Reserves Corporation, better known as Sino Grain. Yes, this impacts us as Americans and in other countries as well. Australia, UK. They're facing both public outrage and government investigations after a state-run newspaper caught the company transporting cooking oil in uncleaned tankers used also for fuel shipments. U.S. imports about $5 billion of food products from China every year. 41% of that is fish and seafood. How is this fish and seafood processed? That's a concern for there, right? But a large portion too, about 25% of that $5 billion worth of food imports is in juices, fruit juices and such, pickled, dried, and canned vegetables. Now, oftentimes those things are seasoned with oils and packed in oils, particularly seafood. You know, like tuna in oil. Now, not saying that tuna comes from China, but other canned fish. A lot of the processed stuff comes from China. Snack foods, spices, and that $5 billion does not include vitamins and supplements, which is a whole nother ball game. A lot of those things being processed over in China. About 60% of the United States apple juice that is sold on the shelves comes from China. 60% of, just go to the store shelf, look at all the apple juice and go, at least 60% of this. If you're in a Walmart, I mean, you're probably closer to 100%, okay? That apple juice, most of it, except for a couple of the organic, whatever labels or something like that, just imagine most of that apple juice is coming from China. And when we look at canned fruits, especially canned mandarin oranges, That's coming from China. Garlic. 50% of the garlic sold in the U.S. comes from China. We're talking about garlic cloves. We're also talking about the powdered garlics, all that kind of stuff like that. How's it processed? What kind of chemicals are in there? Good questions. 10% of U.S. shrimp sold, and especially the cheaper stuff, is from China. Fish. A bunch of the catfish comes from China. So, yeah, that's what we got going on. And look what kind of stuff they're doing over there. If you think it's bad, the processed stuff that's happening in the U.S., just imagine all the stuff that's happening under the table over there in China when they're preparing this food and everything. Rick shares advanced auto parts had a data breach that has impacted 2.3 million people. So just another day, just another data breach. Friends, the cyber attacks that could be on the horizon, if all this information is used against us, we just talked yesterday about the 40 billion passwords that were leaked. All that information's out there. If you have information that's out there that you haven't changed your passwords, you could be very much taken advantage of. Zach says, here's a morning headline that I received via email from the Epoch Times. Colorado governor declares disaster emergency over the bird flu outbreak. Now, they just culled 1.8 million chickens, egg-laying hens, not meat birds, but egg-laying hens. Quote, the declaration means that Colorado can use its emergency powers to take all necessary and appropriate states of action with assistance, to assist with response, recovery, and mitigation efforts. That's directly from the article there. So, tyrant powers, basically. Zach shares, with the disaster declarations, will it spread to other states faster than the alleged bird flu purportedly is? I can only imagine how many chickens will be ordered to be culled and the resultant shortages of chickens and eggs. Well, they don't want us eating chickens or eggs because eggs are healthy. The chicken, maybe not so much. The chicken that we have growing in the U.S., it's so pumped full of all sorts of nasty stuff, antibiotics and all that jazz, and pumped full of water. And the situations that these chickens are raised in, not good at all. But tests have shown that the eggs are still one of the most nutritious things that you can have, and it protects you and builds up your immunity to outbreaks and other things like colds and flu and stuff like that. Eggs are a very good source of nutrition, and if you eat more eggs, you maybe not have to use any of those weight loss drugs and stuff like Wegovy and all that kind of stuff like that, right? And they want you buying all the pharmaceuticals. They don't want you just eating healthy. But these emergency declarations, friends, can mean that they can impose whatever they want. If they want to make everyone start putting cloth over their faces again, they can do that. If they want to make it so that emergency things have to happen around November, well then they can do that. Make it so that you can't vote in person. I don't know. What's coming down the pike? I don't know, but it's not good. That's what we do know. Omega Woman says, western foothills of Maine. Stuff's happening up there. 90 degrees with rainstorms gushing here and there. Flood warnings, and Walmart looks like it's in February before a blizzard. Dozens of employees racing around the store, changing prices, fronting products, and condensing product spaces. Some are restocking. All paper goods gone except for a few high-ticket brands. Powdered creamers, gone. Frozen pizza, tossed. Is anyone straightening up these aisles? The likelihood of a hurricane is remote here in the foothills, but patrons are already panicking. Indie Girl says, update. Went to Kroger in Mishawaka, Indiana. No red onion, no Kraft fire roasted tomato salad dressing. Potatoes were low. Heritage Farms boneless, skinless chicken breast, $20 for family packs. So walked by ground beef, not cheap, and then paying for ground beef filled with water, walked right on by. We got the update coming from Australia coming up in just a little bit here. We got Claudia saying, my sister's credit union, Patelco, something along those lines, has taken a nosedive. Their services are zilch, and customers are now limited to withdrawals of $5,000. My sister can't pay her mortgage, can't pay her bills, etc. She's a semi-prepper and should have known better. FYI, she's in Northern Canada. Northern California. NCA is Northern California. Pike Gamer says, update from Croatia over in Europe. The prices are growing at the farmers markets. The eggs are almost the same price as in America, but it is a little bit better. Good food is harder and harder to find, especially at an acceptable price. The temperatures are extreme. A kilo of beans costs €10 at the farmers market now. That's a lot. That's crazy. Over $5 a pound, right? N says, many of the stores I shop at have increasingly bare shelves. This is up in Vancouver, Washington. Some of the basic pantry staples have increased by about 50% to even 100% in just the last few weeks. Vancouver, Washington, Dollar Tree. I stopped in to buy hardware. Gave the can Kreider's chicken a shake. It sloshes way too much. Not much chicken, lots of water, right? No more canning lids. Do not know if or when they may get more. Wish I had bought more, even at 10 for $1.25. I am good for a few more years, though, and also I have reusable lids. That's a good direction to go with that, right? Vancouver, Washington, Winco, the grocery store. Yesterday afternoon, no buttermilk. About 2 dozen leftover bananas. Shocked to see bananas so depleted. I have never seen it this bad, and I know it will get worse. This is from D. Issues with potatoes. For 2 years, Northwest farmers didn't have enough potatoes for processors. Is Steve making this stuff up? No. Everybody knows it. Everybody in the industry knows it. Last 2 years, they haven't had enough potatoes from the Northwest for the processors. The crops yielded under what was expected. Processors were buying potatoes from the Midwest, East Coast, and even Canada to make fries and all the other things. Fast food restaurants weren't getting all the fries that they could sell. And this year, they're having rotting issues. And we've all seen that. We've all seen the reports from other people, and a lot of people have experienced the quality of the potatoes having black centers or major bruising where you have to cut it all out, right? We've had a lot of those problems, and we're not alone in that. Industries, packing houses, as well as restaurants are having those problems too. All right, this is from Dimboola Blade Works in Australia. The MEU, the Marine Expeditionary Unit, based here, has started to move out. The transport companies who have contracts are the source of this info as they move all the stuff they have to. They're moving all the stuff they have to the Darwin port, and expect to be busy for the next 4 days. Something is afoot. Cheers. Now we already have other Marines heading to Lebanon area. They're now off the coast with the helicopter carriers off the coast of Lebanon. But where are the rest of the Marines going to? Are they potentially going to reinforce the Philippines, or potentially even do something crazy like maybe go to Taiwan? If a Marine Expeditionary Unit were to deploy to Taiwan, that would be a game changer out there for sure. But where are they headed? What are they doing? I don't know. They're not moving super urgently, so it does look like this is a preemptive move somewhere. And this is from Oh Dear Mama. I have started adding lentils to my ground meats to stretch a pound to feed my family of 5. I have 2 teens and a preteen, and we occasionally have leftovers. The great thing about lentils is they take on the flavor of whatever you are cooking it in. It's great for tacos and casseroles. Ground beef, cook up the lentils and then mix the lentils in and stir it all together, right? There's also beans are sometimes used for that same kind of thing, and there are options out there. All right, please let me know your tips and tricks down there of how you're making ends meet right now. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold Group, there's a link right there on the screen. You can just tap right on the screen. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.